Welcome to Stretch. Today we're going to be doing full body. You'll need a box or a bench or a couch or a bed of some sort. Starting off with an elevated hamstring stretch. Place a straight leg onto the elevation and reach down with both hands as far as possible, allowing your back to round, trying to keep your standing leg straight. Release the leg and stand tall, facing away from the leg that's up. If you bend the leg or lean your shoulder towards your foot, you should feel a stretch in the groin area. As usual, this stretch should be for you, so explore the corners, make any adjustments as needed to find the stretch. And release. We'll switch legs for the same sequence, starting off with the elevated hamstring stretch. Release this leg and open it up, standing tall, searching for a stretch in the groin. Release the leg here. Now we're going to go back to the first leg for an elevated pigeon stretch. Unlike the pigeon that happens on the floor, we don't have to worry about that rear leg. We can really focus on how our front leg is set up. Ensure that your shin runs parallel to your shoulders. If you want to make this stretch harder, get your heel further away from the groin. If you want to make it easier, pull it in tighter. Round your back and reach forward. The next step in the super pigeon complex would be rotating your torso towards the knee. And the last change in the sequence is rotating the torso towards the heel, trying to get the belly button in line with that heel. And release to switch sides, starting all over with the first version of the elevated pigeon. And rotate chest towards the knee. And rotate belly button towards your heel. And release. We'll go back to the first setup, standing with your foot elevated so that we can floss the hamstrings. Bend the top leg, the stretching leg, back and forth. You can also think of this in terms of a good morning, dropping and picking up your torso with a flat back. And switch legs. And release this stretch. You're going to turn around facing away from the box. Nivi's going to do a slightly different version. You find what's best for you in your situation. We're going for the chair stretch or the sofa stretch. Your goal here is to get your butt as close as possible to your heel. Here, Nivi is hooking her foot to the top of the box. You might need to rest your knee on the couch or the corner of a room if you're not quite used to this stretch. And switch sides. We'll release this leg and you'll repeat the same stretch on either side. If you did the elevated knee version where the knee isn't in contact with anything, I'd like your knee in contact with something this time. If this is the version that you were doing earlier, please repeat one more round per leg. And switch sides. Release the stretch. We'll turn around facing your elevation, and you're going to take a big step with your left foot on top of the object. We're going for a low lunge where we don't have to be on the ground here. So, We want to move our foot forward so that that shin stays vertical and we don't have a knee forward angle there. Then, try to get your hands, if not your elbows, down to the same level of your foot. And switch sides. Release the stretch, then shake out the legs. Then we're going to use the elevation for our shoulders. Place the hands on top and make sure that the hands and the wrists are on top of the object. Locking out your elbows, try to press your chest and your collarbones down towards the ground. Nivi is standing on straight legs here, but you could also get down on your knees. And take a break. We're going to now hit the prayer pose. Get the elbows on the edge of the object, hands together. And like before, we're going to drive our chest down towards the ground. If you can, place both hands at the base of your neck, trying to keep the elbows in tight. And we'll release this prayer stretch so that we can do the entire sequence on the ground. Take this moment to tidy up or to shake out your body, and then we'll get down on the ground for our hurdler stretch. You'll release the hamstring stretch, and like we did earlier when elevated on the box, we're going to rotate our torso away from the leg. Because we're on the ground, you can drop your torso to try to lay down and flatten up as much as possible. We'll add in a new complex to this sequence in which you'll take your butt off the ground so that you look like you're in the bottom of a Cossack squat. Both heels in contact with the ground, one leg completely bent as if it were squatting, the other leg completely locked out, toe up towards the ceiling. And release the stretch. Hang out on the ground for a second to shake it out so that we can do the same sequence on the other leg. And away. And release so that you can move into the Cossack squat. And you can drop out of the Cossack squat to move into Pigeon. Rotate chest towards the knee or beyond it. Then rotate the torso and the belly button towards your heel. Release to switch sides. Same sequence, the super pigeon, straight ahead, towards the knee, towards the ankle. And belly button towards knee. And belly button towards ankle. Off of the ground onto the knee with one leg extended so that we may floss the hamstring and the nerves that run across the back of your knee. And switch sides. Release this hamstring stretch so that we may try to do a pretzel to open up the quad like we did with the earlier couch stretch. If you're not as flexible or you don't have the hamstring strength to get your heel or your foot into your hand, then you can simply go back and do a couch stretch. and switch sides. And release this stretch. Shake it out for a moment. Then we can get on the first leg for a long lunge, trying to get the hands and or the elbows down towards the ground. And switch sides. Release this leg, shake it out for a moment, and then we'll transition into a prayer pose. With your toes back and your heels together, sit down as far as you can and reach your hands forward as much as you can. Do your best to get your hands as close as possible to each other, and adjust your positioning as needed to make it as comfortable as needed. And relax. You're all done.